Hey, me coming at you again with another 5-minute car review of the movie Conclave, which I just came out of the matinee of. And as you know, if you've seen my other ones, I like to come out to my car and process my thoughts with you after seeing a movie so they're fresh in my mind. And first thing I'd say about this movie Conclave is I didn't know a lot about it. I knew, it was about selecting a pope. I knew kind of the general themes of it. But I didn't find out till today from one of my friends that it was a book first. So here I am ignorant. I went to see it purely based on the trailer of the cast. Ralph Fiennes, Isabella Rossellini, John Lithgow, Stanley Tucci. What is not to love about that cast? And when you go see this movie, just the acting, it is a masterclass of acting. These really great actors coming into a scene, coming together, separating, fighting, unifying, listening to each other, reacting to one another. They all have their only really great scene-stealing moments, but then they are kind enough to give the other person the scene. And just, it's amazing back and forth. When the scenes between Ralph Fiennes and Stanley Tucci, the scenes between Ralph Fiennes and John Lithgow, the scenes between Ralph Fiennes and Isabella Rossellini, I went to see it purely based on this. And of course, you know their resumes. These are great actors, and John Lithgow, especially in this role, I loved him as Churchill recently in The Crown, and this is just way above it. Of course, it's almost Christmas, and one of my great John Lithgow pleasures is him as BZ and the Santa Claus. And I met him once, super nice guy. Phenomenal. Ralph Fiennes, what doesn't he do well? Isabella Rossellini, Stanley Tucci, but the acting is great. But beyond that, I have a lot of thinking to do about this. The themes of the movie are really hard, and I think obviously they're meant to be hard. They're meant to make us question a lot of things. There's a lot of different conflicts in this. There's tradition, the comfort of tradition, the comfort of being in something traditional versus the reality of our modern world that is not so comfortable. And obviously we're all experiencing this right now, right? We've been through a lot of transition. We've been through a lot of different things. And, here you have characters who say, this is the Roman Empire. This is the follow-up. And I can't speak a lot for the Catholic Church, as I'm not Catholic, but as somebody who has grown up Protestant in the faith as United Methodist, I can speak from my own experience on this. The whole movie, I was thinking about that, how my church that I grew up in was called United Methodist, and always on the surface was united, but there was always the realities of the bubbled tensions that existed between factions and between the visions of who was leading and where we were heading as a church. And now, obviously, over the last few years, we've officially moved into a split because of those factions. And that, I have to unpack that a lot in my own thoughts, like, why can't we just be together and be the unified church we were when we were just going on doing these things and that? But on the other side of it, saying, but we have to move forward. We have to move forward in the new pathway that we're heading and be more welcoming in these things. And we have to not be so afraid of tradition. Just a lot. And this movie unpacks a great deal of that. There's a very deeply religious thought in this movie that I love, as somebody who also deals in my own faith of questioning. And that's a really great line too, where he says this church is built on doubt, which free will, right? The whole notion of this movie of us having free will versus the idea of divine intervention, predestination, right? There's times in this when they're making human decisions, and then it would appear that the hand of God moves the decisions, right? And the whole process of looking up Sistine Chapel, Man and God, Michelangelo, a lot of symbolism in this. Religion, individualism, the idea of individualism versus the collective. There's so much to think about in this movie that I can't even begin to scratch the surface of how this movie moved me and made me contemplate the modern world and the idea that we tend to get ourselves into these factions where we hold on to those factions and we can't move past our factions. We can't move past our, talking bubble or whatever it's called. And even in our faith, in our politics, in our homes, there's just a lot, and there's characters who all play different sides, and you find yourself bouncing between, yeah, they're right, or, oh no, they're right, oh, they're right. It's a great movie on the human condition. So my time is up, but if you want a thinking movie and you want to really kind of probe the soul of the modern world versus the traditional world, go see Conclave.